CIS. This is day 8, 213.17. So, we talked a little bit about SQL. Use, select, talked about the attributes, and we did the practice again, beginning of the course of the day. Then we let it, this picture. The next section talks about relations, the relationship between tables or entities. Because the first thing we really need to grasp is how do we determine entities, and we'll work on that the entire term. So we looked at an example. We've got a student table, we've got United States table. In here we have an abbreviation, in here we call it state, and so we can make a relationship between those two tables because they have a common value in the attributes. So if this person is from Iowa, we can now pull information out of this record and combine them, okay, and eventually we can do a query to do that, put it into a view, and so forth. We'll talk about. So we build this relationship. Now, the abbreviations here can appear multiple places here. So one abbreviation here can appear multiple places here. So really, it's like a one-to-many relationship. Now, you may argue this one way or another, but I'm going to say if you're thinking about a state, you can only pick one over here. So any one slot, if you're looking at it from this direction, any one slot here can only have one over here. So it's like a one-to-one. So if you have a person here, this can only be a state from over here. So we have one-to-one. And then there are cases that are many-to-many. This becomes important in designing databases, that you understand the relationship. And we're going to talk about the cardinality of that. Okay? And then we did some queries to build a relationship between these two tables or entities. We have a whole assignment. Assignment 2 works with those that everybody should be working on or completing right now. So then I went back through and talked again about if you have a book entity, and somewheres, and we have an author entity, we have a publisher entity, and somewheres in there up here we list the author. Okay, so the author would go right here, and so you can build some kind of relationship there. One author, okay, can have many books, so that's a one-to-many. And then you can start building things in that each book must have at least one author. That's a constraint. Okay? Each book must have at least one author. So more or less, you can't add a book here and not give them at least one author. And then if they have more than one author, you got to think about how you're going to manage this field. Are you going to put two authors in the same field? And then it'd be multi-valued. See? Be multi-valued. We talked about that term, multi-valued. All right. So, when we think about tables, entities, now you're starting to see we not only have to think about what's an entity and making sure the attributes define just that entity, sort of that particular class, you know, if it's people, things, inventory, whatever. So then if you need to build a relationship between, then you have to think about how is that relationship going to work? What are going to be the requirements? What are going to be the constraints? And is it one-to-one, one-to-many? Is there has to be one, and so forth. So you can start to think about this whole design can become a little more complex as we move along, or very complex. And there are methods, ways to help us take care of that. That's it.